Wow, guys, I am here to make a third video on our friend Jair Bolsonaro. It's not gonna be super long like the other two. I just thought we'd clarify something, okay? I'm gonna make another video right after the, well, it's probably tomorrow morning about like life updates, what's happening, because like a lot of stuff's going on. So, it's been like a week and a half since the Brazilian election. Almost 2 weeks this Sunday. And if you guys didn't know, Brazil elected the right-wing presidential candidate, Jair Bolsonaro. And, so far, nothing super dramatic, but because he's still the president-elect. So, that's not like... it's not like a big deal yet. It's still a big deal, but you get my point. Like, what am I saying? I don't even know. Jair Bolsonaro, the scariest thing he said was the shit about supporting military dictator. There was multiple comments he's made throughout his career about, as a politician, about, saying the military dictatorship was a good thing for Brazil, that torture's a good thing, that a suppression of the other sides, because remember, nothing is binary, is a good idea, that Brazil needs a strong military rule to fight crime, and blah, blah, blah. And like, we all know the baggage that comes with that, right? Like, it's fascism 101. The state becomes this masculine powerhouse that corrals everybody into order. Anyone falls out of line gets shot and murdered. And no one's allowed to criticize anything or they get shipped off and killed. The same fucking shit we've seen. Mussolini made it trendy. Hitler killed the trend literally. It's been making a return in the last 4 or 5 years in Europe, South America, North America. It's great, like, whatever. I'm all for, like, different decades of things coming back, but I don't think that fascism should be something that we bring back from the dead. I think it's something that we should fucking, leave in 1940 in Germany and just kind of move on collectively as a society, and as a global society. We should kind of just, like, bury it in the fucking ground and forget about it. Well, maybe not forget about it, but, like, just remember that was, like, a really fucked time in the history of the world, and we don't want to relive it. You know what I'm saying? Like, as someone who relives their traumas multiple times a day, every day, the last thing I want the world to relive are its global historical traumas. Like, that's just not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like that's a good idea, right? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, that's just not... Jair Bolsonaro is a classic fascist. Fascism 101. Classic fascist. Because you're probably thinking, what is fascism? Like, what is this word that people are using? What is populism? Like, what are these terms? And, like, those are super amazing, valid questions. That's the first thing I'm going to tell you. Like, yes, look at you being politically involved. Look at you trying to understand arguments. Like, yes, Han Bun, ask questions. That is important. Okay, populism it can happen to the left or the right. Example of a left-wing populist candidate was effectively Chavez. Lula is populist, even though Lula didn't destroy Brazil, but Chavez destroyed Venezuela. Right-wing populists are Trump, are Duda in Poland or Hungary, I think. Populist ideals are like Brexit. Right-wing populist ideals are like Brexit. And Bolsonaro is someone who used right-wing populism to win himself the presidential seat in Brazil. Populism, in its simplest terms, is when someone or a group behind an idea or whatever the fuck oversimplifies complex issues that are affecting a populace and says they can solve them with simple solutions. Listen, hun buns. We're gonna. What is our first? What is our first? Our first rule in life? All binaries are false binaries. What is our second rule in life? Our second rule in life is complex solutions for complex problems, right? Things like poverty, crime, war, these are very, very, very intricate and complex problems that involve extreme patience, that involve hard-headedness, that involve they need complex solutions by people who know their shit, right? By sorry to use the word that everyone fucking hates now, but experts. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are problems that need to be solved by people who know what they're talking about and know what they're doing. Okay, and by people I mean plural. Do you get what I'm saying? People. Us as a collective, as a nation, so us as me being American, but if there was someone who was Brazilian, it would be Brazilians solving Brazilian problems. Like, as nations, as people of one country, we should stick together and, like, I know this is wishful thinking, but, like, we should solve the problems, but, like, listen to, like, the input from the people who know what they're talking about. And, like, I'm really not trying to be condescending or arrogant or anything like that, y'all. Like, I just... Like, these are just, like, that's what populism is. It's a person coming up on stage being like, we're going to solve all these complex problems that you're facing in the society with one fucking simple answer. And I'm going to fucking save you. Just, you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, is Brexit going to solve issues affecting the UK? Fuck no. Okay, is Jair Bolsonaro going to solve all the problems of Brazil? Okay, I know he didn't say he was going to solve all the problems, but he said he was going to solve crime. And crime is a big fucking problem in Brazil, okay? He's probably not. He's probably just going to end up making it worse. There's no long-term vision with Jair Bolsonaro, okay? That's what I'm trying to get people to understand with Jair. He has no long-term goals that will actually do anything for Brazil because he is a populist, okay? Okay, if you look back at populists on the right and the left, okay, when it comes to specific things they're saying, okay, there's no fucking complex, like, oh, how are we going to do this? Like, I don't give a fuck about you, I'm gonna fix crime, I'm gonna end shit. Like, shut the fuck up. What are you doing? Like, what are we doing? Where are we building hospitals? Where are we building schools? Like, what are we doing? Show me the long-term, action plan. Like, what are we hitting on? Like, what are the points that we're hitting on? Are we doing what they, you know what I'm saying? So Bolsonaro being like, oh, crime. Like, shut the fuck up, Bolsonaro. Shut the fuck up, Jair. Call us to a fucking boca, bitch. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't have a complex action plan. Shut the fuck up. Okay? And for the people who are falling for his bullshit, here's a good question. Oh, what's your action plan, hun bun? You need to show up in their fucking face, even if you like them. You need to show up. This is to anyone, right, left, Bolsonaro, Trump, Obama, I don't care. You need to show up, look them in the fucking face, and be like, okay, I see what you're saying, but what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? With what money, where, how, when, how high? I'm here, and I want to know the complex answer to the complex problem. Thank you. Like, that's what you need to do. Okay? Show up and ask the hard questions. And if they give you a simple answer to a complex problem, they're probably a populist. And populism, if you look at populism in almost every country where populism has won, including literally almost probably every fucking election in Brazil, what has been done? Probably not a lot. Because we're trying to solve complex problems with simple solutions. Do you understand that? Why are complex and simple in the same fucking sentence? Why is this a thing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, 2 plus 2 equals 4. But it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a simple fucking math problem with a simple answer and a simple way to solve. But yet you throw in a couple multiplications, some dividing, some fucking parentheses, sprinkle a little bit of PEMDAS in there. Like, fuck, you're like, holy shit, I need to, like, work this out. That's the thing about humans. Like, nothing about our existence is easy, y'all. Literally nothing. Okay? Like, see, and I think another part of this is, like, I feel like we're talking from different foundations, right? In conversations that we have, and this is, like, beyond Brazil, right? This is beyond Brazil. This goes into conversations, like, what kind of conversations are we having as people in our countries, right? I felt like at one point most people were coming from like a similar foundation, and that foundation was like democracy and human rights. I could be wrong, okay, but I felt like that was where we were all coming from. And we were like multiple construction teams at this foundation kind of working together to build this house, right? And this house is our country, like what it is, what it stands for. But it seems more and more to me every day that we have different foundations, okay? A communist foundation, a fascist foundation, a weak centrist foundation, just all these kinds of foundations, okay? Like all sorts of foundations. And all the construction teams are building really weak fucking houses that aren't going to stand shit because everyone's competing and screaming at each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to be at the same foundation building the same house. Does that make sense? But, like, how are you supposed to do that when you have people on the far right being like, yeah, only if the construction team is white? Like, and then you have people on the far left, but I'm going to put a disclosure right here. People on the far right are like, oh, well, if we don't build the house with white construction workers, we're literally going to just fucking kill everybody that doesn't look like us. Okay? So let's just acknowledge that fascism in this global context that we're in right now is a much bigger, more dangerous, immediate existential threat to most humans right now. We're just going to put that out there. Like, you know, the Ed, Ed and Eddie meme where the guy's holding the book that says fact, double D's holding it, and then we open the book and there's the fact. Fascism is a bigger threat than communism. So shut the fuck up with the both sides bullshit. And then you have communists over here who are like, I guess their hearts are in the right place. Like, I guess I see where they're coming from. But they're like, unless you believe what we believe, book by book, word by word. Okay? Unless you want the same fucking revolution that we want, we're not going to listen to you and we're going to call you a fascist. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, hun buns, the real fascists over here getting away with horrible things, and you're calling everyday liberals fascists. Do you see why this is the problem? Do we see this? We're not coming from the same foundation, hun buns. This foundation I'm talking about should be democracy and human rights. Okay, Jair Bolsonaro does not give a fuck about human rights. Jair Bolsonaro does not believe in human rights. Jair Bolsonaro has made it very obvious. Okay, literally to the point where he says democracy doesn't work, to say that he does not believe in democracy. Who the actual fuck is going to vote for somebody who says the phrase, I don't believe in democracy, or implies that they don't believe in democracy, or says some kind of variation of, oh, democracy's shitty, let's install a military dictatorship and kill everybody that disagrees with us? I'm being kind of annoying and like bitchy about this because I'm trying to like get you to see like why, logically speaking, this is fucking stupid, and why you, if you are someone who voted for a populist or a right-wing fascist or someone who's both, why the logic in your brain wasn't making any fucking sense when you were at the goddamn poll. Do you get that? What do we want? Human rights. Why do we want human rights? Because I don't know, we all like to be treated like fucking human beings with human rights. Like, we all like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very obvious conservatives are all about human rights too, because they're always talking about the Second Amendment. They're always talking about freedom of speech. They're always talking about freedom of religion. So it's very obvious that there's a lot of people on the right who care about human rights, but then they keep electing people who don't support human rights. So, did you get what I'm saying? Like, why are we electing people that don't support human rights? You know what I'm saying? Like, trans people are still people with human rights, right? Like, you can't discriminate against someone based on the fact that they're trans, right? Because being trans is part of the human experience. There's a fuck ton of sociological, anthropological, and historical evidence to back me up on this claim. So try to fight me. You're going to be wrong because you're wrong because it's factually correct information. Shut the fuck up. Like, just stop with your anti-intellectual bullshit and drop the argument because you're wrong. Like, it's just, there's no other things to, you know what I'm saying? Like, people, human rights, everyone, every person, skin doesn't matter, skin color, race, sexual, just every fucking person that's human deserves human rights. And the system of governance that time and time again has proven to hold human rights up to a high standard has been democracy. So if we value human rights, then we want to value the government system that upholds human rights, so we're going to pick democracy. So why are we voting for people who clearly don't support democracy? What's one of the tenets of fascism? The constant beratement of the truth, the establishment of an alternate truth, the establishment of bullshit, the establishment of a lie. Okay? What does Trump do? He berates the media constantly. And not like the media is without flaw. Like, obviously, girl, as someone who started out as a journalism student and, became a communication student and graduates in 2 days, I have nothing but complaints and criticism about CNN, about Fox, about American media in general. Like, I could sit here and make a 45-minute long video on the American media. I will be the first person with the loudest microphone out there being like, okay, here's a list of problems and how we're going to solve them. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not sitting here being like, oh my God, they're the fucking saving grace of our nation. But Trump's constant fucking bullshit of like tearing them down and being like, oh my God, and then literally tweeting lies, it's a fucking problem. Okay? And if you look at what are the fucking signs of fascism and what are the founding tenets of fascism, what do we look for? Bitch hits the nail right on the fucking head. He literally hits the nail on the head with that one. And yet here we are, electing Trump, electing Bolsonaro. Oh my fucking God. It's just, you know what I'm saying? And like, thank God the midterm elections went the way that they did. That we didn't fucking continue this pattern, at least in my country. Because it was getting old. You know, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much to unpack, guys. And like, we're already at 17 minutes. And like, I just thought I would give you my perspective, hope to shed some light on people's fucked up logic and the weird ways people can fucking justify shit. I don't fucking know. So, yeah, that's the tea for today. I will talk to you guys in the morning. I'm going to go watch more YouTube, and then I'll go to bed and wake up and hopefully get extended checkout. I hope. Anyway, thanks. I will see you guys later. Goodbye.